Hello there, this is Cookies. I've got turn 60 of EA Abysia as part of this Three's Disciples, and I've got some good news. So False God is subbing into the second round of Lucid's tournament. So as part of that, we're trying to offload some of his games because I think he's got like 4 or 5 games right now. He's got a game where he's playing a modded Angelic Nation. He's got another game where I believe he's playing EA Relay. He's also playing EA Baratos in the game I'm casting. And he's also playing this game where he is Hinnom. And adding a tournament game onto there, we want him to be able to focus on the tournament game. So Zan has volunteered to fill in for False God. So we've still got False God for reference. He's still in the group chat and everything, but we're plugging in Zan to take care of the micro and a lot of the scripting. So thank you, Zan, for filling in. But this is the last turn, I believe, where False God did the majority of or all of the scripting or turn. So we'll go ahead and see how he does. So here's our big battle on Lepentha. Alright, so this is the army we have long been awaiting from False God. On the TNN side, we've got a bunch of these Kushi. They're pretty cool, sacred dogs. It's really hard to make a bless for them where they frequently don't die in droves, but I mean, they're pretty cool. I'm sure there are blesses. I just don't see them very frequently. And then we've got a large number of mages here. On Hinnom's side, his ranks are filled out mostly with Long Dead. He's also brought a large number of Dawnguard. Dawnguard have a magic attack. And that's important because TNN's team is fielding an ethereal bless for their bless. So all these dogs are going to be ethereal. That's why you want all these Dawnguard. Additionally, we've got a sprinkling of Shed in here. And we've also got a fair number of mages ready to rock and roll. So in terms of casting, we've got Big Nature, Earth, Air, Astral, and Fire. He's got a few Temp Gen boosters, but I've been giving a lot of those to Kalasa because he's got more armies. So some of these are just being fielded by regular mages in terms of gems just being held. TNN's got this mage with some water gems. He's also got a couple of research boosters on these mages. I normally view that as a sign of declining player morale. So I think we are breaking their spirit, their spirit of resistance. We'll see though. He's got a tremendous number of Frostbrand thugs. And then we see a big Glamour mage, Glamour 4 with a bunch of Glamour gems. We've got a Warrior Queen. So this is a hero unit. Okay, so it's not any sort of Dragon Breath on the horse. I was worried it was kind of close to like a Yes unit. Alright. Many successful campaigns against the Fomorians. Interesting. Turned her attention to the Marverni. Pretty cool backstory. And then, yeah, but other than that, not a lot of big magic from the TNN side. So we'll go ahead and pay more attention to the Hinnom Mage Corps as they get casting. So here we've got Anti-Magic, Marble Army, Army of Mist, Firestorm, Bloodlust, some Steel Slice Warriors. So a lot of big spells. Also Army Region coming out from Hinnom. A lot of 8s. Reinvigoration put on the communion or the Sabbath, and then we've got Army of Giants, Storm, Army of Giants and Storm coming out. I'm not sure if there's more, but Firestorm does go off. And now I will focus on the main battle. Alright, so this battle's over. The Sayer are trying to run people down. The one downside I will say is a lot of the mages got away here. There was no flying component to Hinnom's army here, and we didn't cut off a lot of the retreat routes. So a lot of these mages are still going to be ready and able to support future TNN armies. Alright. Now the end result of this is we lose not much. We lose about 28 long dead, which is, I think, was that like 9 death gems? We lose 1 Sayer, so 5 or 6 blood slaves, an Avite swordsman, and we lose some gems casting spells. On the TNN side, kill about 13 mages, but we also delete a majority of the army, including 144 of the Kushi. And so this is, I think this is what happens when you have a disadvantaged player who's taken a lot of attrition, kind of like when I was playing Nagarond, and I only had a 6 and I got attacked by someone with 8s. You end up with a lot of battles like this, where you might bring more mages, in which, you know, he brought a lot of thugs, like army thugs, but he didn't have a lot of late game magic. Whereas Hinnom brought a lot of late game magic, didn't really bring any thugs, but it didn't matter because the troops were so buffed that they just killed their way through pretty much everything. Alright. So we'll go ahead and show off the Melkart. So here's the kit. This one's got the storm armor. It's also got lightning reflexes. So pretty insane defense. Fire shield, temper armors, phoenix pyre, and that guy's ready to go. Alright, then we've got some Zabalba vampires running amok. Another TNN raiding party. And just to kind of show what's in these armies, I don't think the crocodiles are stealthy. They aren't. Otherwise, this whole raiding party would be stealthy, because the wolves are. He's added a couple of elemental armors. So these guys are significantly tankier and more well protected, but they're still generally wielding frost brands. Alright, we've got a necromancer. The Kanara are running around. That, as a reminder, this guy's kit, because he's a Macone hero, this is the kit he's running around with. Pretty insane protection. Also Dominion Immortality, which is really cool. He's got a flambeau. Very expensive kit. I think 15, 20, 35, 50. So 65 gem kit on this guy so that he can solo take provinces. So pretty expensive super combatant. Then, let's see, so that was Macone. We've got the Baratos army. The Baratos army is pretty interesting. So I believe War PC is playing Baratos, but we've got a whole bunch of Archdevils, Demon Lords. We've got the Father Ill-Earth. We've got the Prince of Lust, another Demon Lord. So a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a bunch of Shed in this army. Front line of Colossi Warriors with 4 experience stars, so a very elite army. In terms of the kit for this army, a lot of Gloves of the Gladiators, which is interesting. And the Gloves of the Gladiators is being paired with, I think a lot of the time, these Hearts of Life. So they've got a whole bunch of extra reinvigoration. Yeah, Heart of Life, Heart of Life. Also Spirit Helmets for auto spell Lightning Bolts. So these guys are, as soon as you make this item, it kind of turns a commander into a level 2 air mage, just doing a lot of lightning bolts, except it's a little bit more protected. Also has a bunch of bloodstone armors that add regen, and Boots of the Messengers for more fatigue, and occasionally Girdles of Might for even more fatigue resistance, or reinvigoration rather. So we're looking at 13 reinvigoration with maybe melee encumbrance of about 12. So they are fatigue positive, so they will just keep punching away. Also lets them do a lot of casting because they are fire 4. So, but their spellcasting fatigue is 18. Then we've got this Bride in Waiting. She's got a bunch of air gems. Got a couple of big earth mages. We've got the Lord of Hell and the Father Ill-Earth. And then we've got some nature gems on the Lord of Corruption. We've got the Monster of Fraud and the Prince of Lust. So go ahead and set up all these. All right. And yeah, so just like a really cool army to be able to see. Especially the Shed with the front line. We've got a bunch of Draconian Flyers. We've got some Fire Drakes mixed in. And then just like a whole bunch of big casters. Let's go ahead and see what they do. Oh, so this triggered gem usage because they ran into this Cryptes with a Carmine Cleaver. So we've got Storm, we've got Blood Rain. Light of the Northern Star. Let's go ahead and go through some of these mages and just see what they cast. Temper Armors. Oh, and this is a recent Illwinter patch where now Blood Rain properly affects both sides again. For a while it was bugged and it was only affecting one side. So you can kind of see what folks are casting. So Blood Rain is not strictly free anymore. We've got Furious Warriors. Flame Flash Army. Now, maybe something you could do for Blood Rain to make it a little bit better again, if you wanted to, is you could have it not affect demons, or, yeah, not affect demons. And that's for all the demons that have actual morale rather than 30 morale. So we've got Storm. This guy put in Marble Army. Blood Rain cast. Legions of Steel. Purified Blood. That gives poison resist. I believe 10 to the whole army. So it's better than Serpent's Blessing. But yeah, really cool army. All right. Then we've got another little raid. We can see the mounts getting stolen out from under these guys. Okay. We've got another mill cart going into Klon. Let's go ahead and check this guy out. And this one has a flesh eater, along with a ring of regen. A little bit more basic kit. Not much going on here. And in Miskia, we have another Kanara running around. The Shaitan gets found out. I suppose we can see what it was trying to do. I'm assuming it was just a raiding party that got caught, though. Yeah, nothing on it. Another mill cart running in. We could go ahead and check out this Panuonia mill cart. So this guy has a very minimal kit. Does have fatigue recovery though, so hopefully he doesn't die. Would be nice if we could put a bigger kit on him. He is a hero after all. And you could potentially put some heavier armor on him because he's got that extra fatigue recovery up at 6. Alright. And then runs into a Zabalba group. Looks like just a Sino shaman though. So he'll kill that, or it'll run away. Kills it. Another Kaelasa raid. We've seen that party before. Alright, and then we have a battle at the Fortress of Jinport between Rus and Fomoria. So we've got a bunch of chewed skin shifters, we've got the Rus Pretender, we've got chewed berserkers. This guy's got water and nature gems. And the items are Ring of Regen and Bracers of Protection. In here we've got a rather large Fomorian force, but it's a large force, but the quality is not large. These dispossessed spirits are generally pretty bad. Corpse constructs aren't great at fighting either. They largely rely on overcharged. And then draconians, they've gotten a lot better at fighting, but they're still not great at it. So they've got their venomous bite, and then they've also got some talons. Alright, and then we've got a number of mages. So Fomoria is fielding a bunch of these corpse construct summoners. I'd be a little sad losing all this gear. I probably would have pulled the gear off of these guys, but maybe it's part of their plan. They don't have gems on them though. We've got 2 lizard shamans with ancient caskets. No idea what they can do there. They can't hold death gems or do anything with death gems. We've got this Numidian. This guy's also got an ancient casket, so it looks like a lot of spare loot left on these guys that ideally could get redistributed, like, but well, maybe not. Maybe they don't have any death casters, but yeah. So we'll have to see what FedEx does to try and overcome this. Right now, Fomoria's got more mages and more gear, kind of, but I suspect Rus has a better quality stuff. So we see Storm, Grip of Winter, Wrathful Skies. Chewed berserkers are running off the field. Alright, so I think it's clear how this battle's gonna go. All these mages should be toast, especially with this Fomorian king. He's got a pretty significant thug kit set up. Black Heart, interesting. Could have given him a stealth item to get him out of here, but I guess he's in here now. A bunch of air mages that are all fatigued out. As a reminder, the Bless is attack skill +2, larger, and invulnerability. The Roost Bless, Unholy Weapons, Blood Search, Righteous Wrath, and larger. So that'll kill off a bunch of Fomorian mages. Alright, so big battle there. For Roos, he loses, I think, 10 mages, so he might need to rebuild the mage core for this army a little bit. Most of them were basic communion mages though, so it looks like he just burned it out. Does lose a fair amount of troops, about a third of his sacreds. About 80% of the berserkers and the rest routed. Does wipe out 1,245 things from Fomoria. Now, in terms of quality things, kill 2 Draconian Chiefs. I consider those pretty high value kills. Kills 15 Druids, 3 Kings, Kakothiad, an Numidian champion, Sorceress. Also knocks out 63 Draconians. That'd be a pretty significant sieging force that could try to hit the back lines a little bit, or just be held in reserve for a counter-offensive if something went well. And then also deleted just hundreds of corpse constructs and dispossessed spirits. Fomoria also lost a fair amount of gear, including the gear to summon those corpse constructs. And I'm surely one of the players on there has the Air Death Crosspath, and they can try to make use of that. In terms of events, let's say we got an enchanted shield that'll probably get shipped out. In terms of what we're shipping out this turn, this is what we're sending out. Crown of Bones is interesting because with some astral gear, it'll let Hinnom teleport or gateway a lot of summoned stuff from his back lines to his front lines to reinforce armies. Combining that with teleporting key mages up can help him keep up momentum easier. And just a bunch of other stuff, including some leadership items to go with the gateway caster, a little bit of gold, arcane lens to be able to do that easier, and we're also trying to build up some mind hunt capabilities on Hinnom, so we're working on that. And I think that's a lot of this particular turn for turn 60. I could try to pull up turn 61 as well in just a second. In terms of our armies, we've eliminated the main TNN army. A lot of the mages are still alive though, so as soon as he gets more chaff, he'll have a new army. The forces are in a pretty rough state. He's probably trying to rebuild them in his capital. We're expecting this to force the Zabalba player to bring up whatever army he's created to try and defend. This Hinnom force is about ready to move out. We've got a huge Hinnom army and a huge Kailasa army here. We've got a Kailasa army here, so we're going to try to stay on the offensive, and hopefully we can gain a bunch of land, especially in the north. And then the other primary objective is still killing the Pretender. Alright. And then also, we hit Blood 8 this turn. So this is going to be my first 3 red seconds cast. I'm casting it here so that we can recruit more gnomes. So that'll be really nice. I'm also getting my first vampire. So that'll also be really nice. We're trying to focus on some rings of regen, some other stuff. So let me bring up, this is what we're foraging. Still getting a lot of thug kit gear out. More mind hunt gear, more boosters, more temporary gem gens. Just there's an endless amount of stuff that I can send them for them to use for their armies. And we're also trying to wrap up site searching on our end. So we're getting pretty close to maxed out site searching. We've got some more air to do. We're wrapping up glamour. I think we've done death, we've done astral, we've done nature. Earth is getting pretty close. We've got some 3s that we're manually site searching up to 4s. And then we've finished up water and fire. So capitals don't have gems, and then I think fire caps at fire 4. Air technically caps at air 3. I don't have any air 3 mages though. And then with glamour underwater, I believe caps at glamour 3 to find all potential sites. So I'm going to work on that. There's no underwater blood sites, so we don't have to worry about that. And sites for holy do go up to holy 4, but I'm just going to do a lot of holy 3 site searching and call it a day. I think it's only 1 or 2 potential sites we could miss out on. But yeah, we're still trying to go through here and find some different things. So we found a first gate. That was pretty cool. We found all those fire sites last turn down here in this wasteland. So there's definitely some site searching to be had. So we're going to try to wrap that up for ourselves, and then we'll probably keep trying to do it a little bit for Hinnom and Kailasa. So I think that's it for this turn. And I will go ahead and bring up turn 61. All right, I've got turn 61 pulled up here, actually. Yeah, let me go ahead and get out of the caves. All right, so for turn 61, we do put up, we get our vampire, we find an enchanted gate, we do 3 red seconds, and we also dispelled blood vortex. This was for the Agartha team. So they were pretty upset that we dispelled Mother Oak, but they were also wondering if they could, because of Arcane Decree, if they could buy a dispel, because they wanted to try and put up Maelstrom. So we offered to dispel Blood Vortex for free as a gesture of goodwill for dispelling their global. And they agreed. And so what they've attempted to do is roll the dice on Maelstrom. And unfortunately, Maelstrom failed to go up. It ended up getting cast in the random order first before our dispel. And so it bounced off of a bigger global. So they're going to attempt it again over this end turn, and this is my current turn, so I don't know what that'll look like next turn, but that's what's going on there. And then we've got life out of Zabalba. So we get Send Lesser Horror. This looks like 2 or 3 castings getting sent at us. Or no, this is Hinnom. Sorry, because it's hitting Zabalba. So Zan getting his first influence over Hinnom, and it looks like he started sending out some Send Lesser Horror cast. And then we've got a fair amount of action this turn. So TNN's got a couple of Frostbrand thugs. We've seen bajillions of these, but including one with an LLP. And this is an interesting bit of counterplay against these very unprotected yogi and guru communions that are trying to enslave them. So the LLP provides a bunch of distraction chaff and might kill some of the mages. Also might burn out the communion, and you can see it happening right there. And we got more and more imps coming in. Alright, so this communion's dead. So this was 14 mages, probably needed a little bit of chaff. So we've got so that's an interesting wrinkle from TNN to force a change out of Kirby in terms of the counter raiding game. And we see a Wraithlord raid. You can go ahead and check out his gear. Alright, no gear. Interesting. Alright, then we've got a Melkart raid. For those who love Melkarts, we can go ahead and check out his gear. Alright, so this is probably the same one we saw last turn. Then in Mag, we see the big Baratos army again. We find a Yaksha. We can do a survey of the Kalos Ethics again, see what their kits are like. Here's the script. Okay. Just letting people kind of study the thugs if they want. Over in Gilged, got this Kanara. This is the Hellsword one. Alright. Then we've got a fair number of battles, but they're all pretty lopsided. Or thugs, or... Let's go ahead and check out this one. Sorry for the Discord beep. Yeah, it's just the standard TNN fare. I'm not going to close it just yet, because I'm hoping to get a response to something. So... Ooh, we do see a Bane from Xibalba, so let's go ahead and... Okay, he's just got an Armor of Knights. So a little bit more protection on that Bane. Another Yaksha Thug. We can check out this Thug's kit. Okay. The Cat Charm for extra defense. So 20 attack, 20 defense. Enormous strength, so 43 damage, 24 attack, GSS. Here's the kit, or the script, I mean. Alright. Let's see. I think that was that. Down here. Okay, so then in Ligria, we see another Vampire Lord. So a lot of Vampire Lords coming out from Xibalba. So Xibalba's really starting to counter-raid and enter the fighting in a big way, because he needs, his two allies need him. And then also in Jaheira. Oh, so Xibalba raids this wasteland with some stuff, and my Demon Priest ends up walking in and retreats. Whole lot more thugs and raids going around. Another Melkart. Another Melkart. We can... That's the same Melkart, so we'll go ahead and take a look at him again. So this one's got a Masters of Thame, so he might be trying to join the Hinnom army. Or it's being used for the partial life drain effect. Just like a very expensive... I think a Thame, which is the blood booster that also does the same. Alright. And then, yeah, and then we get hit by, or no, Micklin gets hit by a Moose Behind Draconian raid, led by a Draconian Chief. Now, I don't like raiding with Draconian Chiefs. What I like to do is, if possible, I find some other way to lead them. That could be either a Horde from Hell commander or a Call of the Winds commander, and then I try really hard not to let those commanders die. And then I'll lead Draconians that way. Because every time that Draconian Chief is moving or fighting, you're not getting a new Draconian, and if he dies, you just cut out. You know, if the game goes another 20 turns, you just killed 20 more Draconians. Alright, so we've got gold, silent boots, and then we get randomly attacked via event from Cetus. So agents of Cetus have infiltrated us and they're attacking us. So we get a bunch of lizard warriors and a couple of lizard shamans. And they are owned by the Cetus player, and he also gets a free Empoisoner, which is kind of annoying. So he gets a free assassin there as well. And that's just like on my fort here, which is pretty annoying. So what I'm hopeful is that somebody else will clean up this mess. I can't magic phase on it because I'll go inside my fort. So I need somebody else to magic phase on this and kill it. In terms of foraging, this is what we're foraging this turn. Getting some boots of quickness from the water mages, but otherwise just continuing to forage a lot of thug kit, but also some other boutique things for fitting out armies. Another crown of bones, for example. And then here's what we're casting. So we are doing another 3 red seconds, and we're picking up a golem. The 3 red seconds is being targeted here in the Earthsore Desert to protect all this gem income. We've been moving additional mages forward, like blood mages. And so they finally made it here to Visalane. And we're keeping a lot of commanders here just in case some TNN assassins show up to try and protect this guy numerically, and hopefully he'll survive. But yeah, so the goal here is to get up a new citadel here, and that should help a lot. Additionally, from Zabalba, we see a Zabalba citadel go up over this lab. So we'll have to re-siege this fort to be able to get at the lab, which is pretty interesting. And then we also see the Zabalba army, including the Draco Lion. So we've got mainly Ocelotls from a 660 stack. So this army is very scary. Their bless, not the scariest. It's an ethereal bless. Both Kaelasa and Hinnom have a lot of answers to ethereal. So, at least for us in particular, it's not the scariest bless, but it is a lot of Ocelotls, and Ocelotls are very killy. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for this. Otherwise, we're continuing to push into TNN, trying to squeeze income, trying to cut off income. So I think we've cut off this cave income down here, which is good. So that should really limit what TNN can hire and do. We've also raided a fair amount of Ur's land, so I'm hoping Ur doesn't have a lot left in the tank. And then we'll have to focus down on Zabalba. So, and if we can take out the bless on the Ur Pretender, that would be even more dangerous for them. All right, so I think that's a lot of it for this turn. In terms of the globals, this is what the globals look like. So they're going to be fighting for Maelstrom. I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative about what mages I choose to forge this turn, because we could see Arcane Corruption come up, which would be very bad for me. I'd probably lose a lot of hammers. And let's see, and then in terms of graphs, you can kind of see how our army graphs are going. Dominion research, blood income. We've never gotten close to Lanka's blood income again. We've got the gem income from Kailasa, income from just generally. Kailasa's rated a lot more of the more profitable land, let's put it that way. And then Hinnom tends to eat a lot of their land too, if they're fighting over it for a while. And we've got forts and provinces. So Hinnom provides a very powerful complementary aspect to Kailasa, but this is mainly a Kailasa sling now. We're relying on Kailasa to carry us a bit here. So Kailasa's got, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 armies right now. And hopefully he'll start building new ones soon. Because he should, I mean, even with the Dispel last turn, he should have a lot of pearls that he's able to spend on building out sacred armies. So I think that's where we're at for the current turn. I will go ahead and see you guys in the next one, because we're all caught up, so I can't cover any more in this one. Have a good one, guys.